Currently Kirkland, your source for city news and events in the community. With Erica Sanford at the news desk, stay up to date with weekly news reports on what's happening in Kirkland. Now, here's Erica.
Hi, I'm Erica Sanford, and welcome to this edition of Currently Kirkland. Every week we're here with the latest in what's happening in our town. Last week, Lake Washington High School opened its doors to a new building designed to use natural energy for many of the functions architects have traditionally entrusted to electricity and fossil fuels. Heat, for example, will now come from the earth below. Light will come from the sun streaming in through the windows. And 6 classrooms worth of electricity will come from solar panels installed on the building's roof. The drought-resistant landscaping will require minimal maintenance, and the building's brick exterior will require no maintenance. These and countless other energy-saving innovations are why the 212,000-square-foot building scored so high on the state's report card that measures a school's physical capacity to foster learning, reduce costs, and mitigate its impact on the environment. And droves of students, parents, and alumni participated in Tuesday's open house to see these things firsthand.
I really like the way that it involves all the different students. Like each section is going to have all different grade levels because it gives you a chance to really meet different students that you probably wouldn't if you were just in classes with your own age groups.
Definitely how eco-friendly it is, because that's definitely something that they focused on a lot and they accomplished it.
I like the theater.
But as many learned Tuesday, replacing the school's original 62-year-old building with a more efficient, more comfortable version is just one of the reasons for the investment. The other reason, the big reason, is to facilitate a new way of teaching and learning. And that new way is based on a sense of community where students share the same group of teachers for all 4 years of their high school education, and every student has at least one teacher on whom they can rely on for educational guidance. Christian Knight provides a closer look.
The new system pursues this objective by dividing the school's 1,000 students into 4 different houses. Those houses become the students' educational homes for all 4 of their high school years. In those houses, students will study their core classes, math, science, social studies, and English, through an integrated approach. History and English teachers, for example, might use the poetry of Walt Whitman to introduce a new perspective on the Civil War. The building also has open-style office areas for teachers to plan lessons and grade papers. The old system stowed teachers away in empty classrooms where they worked in isolation, but this new design allows teachers to collaborate with each other on lesson ideas and student performance.
They look at all the data and make determinations about what students need. They design house-wide activities for kids to get to know each other really well. And then they also keep all the data for the house. So each house will be tracked in terms of where the kids are and where they grow later.
Another difference between this building and the old one is the soft seat lounges, where groups of students can design projects together.
Everybody learns differently. I don't learn the same way that you learn. And because of that, we have flexible furniture, we have spaces that are open, and they can be moved very easily in any way, shape, or form so that students can get the maximum learning experience for whatever they're doing, whether they're doing self-study or project-based learning, a team situation, or listening to somebody who's delivering a presentation.
Crews began constructing the new building 2 years ago, but the plans for the new educational design emerged in 2006, when educators and citizens recognized the need to prepare students for work lives that will likely span several jobs and multiple careers. In February of that year, citizens passed a $436 million modernization bond that would upgrade 11 district schools every 30 or 40 years. Later that December, a Lake Washington High School research team formed. Their task was to discover the most effective educational design available, and they did this by studying academic research and visiting schools in San Diego and New York City, where large schools were divided up into individual and separate small schools.
The difference between what we're doing and what they do is their small learning communities operate under an academy system where each house, so to speak, is aligned to a different career pathway. So we didn't do it that way intentionally because oftentimes when you get into academies, you get into inequity in students. So a particular career pathway might take a higher level student than a different career pathway. So what we did is keep our electives open to all students and our AP classes open to all students, and then just combine the core classrooms into that small learning community model.
As a result, several schools this year are receiving ambitious renovations. And the point of the renovations is simple: to make education more intimate, more integrated, and more collaborative. Finn Hill Junior High's brand new 120,000 square foot building is within a few weeks of completion. Site work began this summer on Rose Hill Junior High's new building, a project expected to last through the summer of 2013. Elementary schools such as John Muir, Bell, the International Community School, Helen Keller, and Sandburg are all in various stages of this modernization process.
Most of the construction on Lake Washington High School will be complete by the time students return to the classrooms in September. However, some schools will still be flanked by construction crews through the fall. For students and drivers, this requires extra vigilance while traveling through school zones. To remind students and travelers of the need for extra caution, Kirkland Police Sergeant Lisa Brouelette took some time to offer tips on school zone safety.
I'm kind of curious what a violation that a person that is very common but that is also is statistically kind of dangerous.
Rolling through these stop signs we have here, people don't come to complete stops when they hit the intersection. The law requires you to stop prior to either crossing a crosswalk like we have up here or the white stop line that's adjacent to the stop sign. Because if you think about it, you have cars approaching the intersection from different directions. Nobody comes to a complete stop. You know, you're going to have somebody hitting somebody, and everybody says, "But I thought I stopped." And people forget that the school zone speed limit is 20 miles an hour, and we have children walking along the side of the road, and they are subject to unpredictable maneuvers, and a child could suddenly appear in front of you. If you're traveling above the posted speed limit of 20 miles an hour, it takes a long time to stop. For every mile that you're going over 20 miles an hour, it's going to take you that much longer to stop. And the average person has a reaction time of 1.5 seconds. So think about how far you can go in 1.5 seconds. We have a couple different ways that our school zones are assigned. Some of them are assigned when children are present. It's 20 miles an hour. And some of them have blinking lights. That is 20 miles an hour when it's blinking. Like this sign right here says school speed zone limit 20 when children are present. So this right now technically becomes a school zone with that young man walking here, even though school's not actually in session. But then we have these variable speed limit signs like this one right here that's currently showing 25 because it's not hours of school and children aren't present at this moment. That'll switch to 20 during about the 20 minutes before. There's about a 20-minute window prior to the start of school and a 20-minute window after school when the lights will flash in the school zone, signs that change from 25 to 20. And so that's when we come out and enforce the 20-mile-an-hour school zone speed limit. I would say as a whole we do fairly well in terms of obeying the school zone speed limits. In the beginning, we have a lot of parents driving their kids to school, and sometimes they get in a hurry because they're running late, and they just want to get their kids to school. They're excited, and they forget that the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit is there. Their children are safely in their car with them, so they forget that the other children are out walking. So it's just kind of a momentary forgetfulness, or they're distracted by their child in the back seat and they don't realize that they're exceeding the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. So all we ask is that everybody be responsible and everybody be safe. The safest way to approach a crosswalk is when you get there, don't assume that the driver sees you. Stop, look both ways. If you can, make eye contact with the driver. Get some sort of acknowledgement that they've seen you. Cars can't stop suddenly, and it could be the driver's distracted by something on the other side of the road. They may or may not have seen you. So make sure you stop, look both ways, establish some eye contact, and when you feel pretty comfortable that that car has stopped for you, go ahead and cross. Pedestrians do have the right of way in the state of Washington, but it's not really a good idea to risk it if the driver hasn't seen you.
Is it Washington law that the pedestrian has to clear from one side to the other before a vehicle can go, or is it still the same thing where you can just, once the pedestrian is halfway across the street?
It's a good idea, especially in our residential setting, to wait till that child or pedestrian has totally crossed the street. State law is you've got to stop for a pedestrian that's within one lane of your half of the roadway. So technically, on these 2-lane roads, as soon as they take one step into the crosswalk, they're within 1 lane of your half. Just stop for them. Let them get all the way across. Make sure they don't have a friend coming by behind them as the driver. Make sure nobody else is crossing, and then you can go.
I think when a person walks from school to home or home to school, they're really just kind of destination oriented. But there's probably some things they should be thinking about on the route. Could you give us a few of those?
Sure. Well, we want to make sure that the kids are walking home are thinking about, the fact that there are cars passing by. So they need to pay attention. When they reach the crosswalk, make sure you stop, look both ways, make sure it's clear. Don't just jump out in front of a car, because remember, cars can't stop on a dime. If a stranger drives up and offers you a ride, by no means take it. Run, yell, run away in the other direction. Go find somebody, find an adult, a trusted adult. It'd be really great if all the kids had a buddy system, to walk home with a friend. Mom and dad know where you are, who you're with. The other thing is, especially in bad weather, try and wear light-colored clothing so you can be seen as you're walking along the side of the road.
Standard & Poor's dinged the U.S. with a downgrade from its former AAA credit rating, but early this week, the credit rating agency reaffirmed its confidence in the city of Kirkland's ability to pay back its bonds. Kirkland is one of 2 U.S. cities to receive the S&P's AAA credit rating since the U.S.'s credit regressed to AA status. The city's low debt burden compared to its market value was one of the factors that figured into the rating. So too were its strong financial policies and its maintenance of a robust reserve account. The S&P also lauded Kirkland for its smooth transition of Finn Hill, Kingsgate, and North Juanita. Over the next 3 weeks, 5 neighborhoods will be celebrating their communities amidst the lingering warmth of summer with their annual neighborhood picnics. The Norkirk and Highlands neighborhoods are meeting up at noon on August 27th at Crestwoods Park for their picnic. The Everest neighborhood is hosting its picnic from 3 to 6 p.m. on August 28th at Everest Park. The Central Houghton neighborhood is heading to Terrace Park at 11 a.m. on September 5th. And the Market neighborhood is planning its 5th annual picnic from 3 to 6 p.m. on September 10th at Waverly Beach Park. For upcoming neighborhood meetings, visit www.kirklandwa.gov/neighborhoods. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Currently Kirkland. Remember, you can access any episode on demand on the city's website, on your mobile devices, and on YouTube. If you have any news tips, story ideas, suggestions, or comments, please send them to kirklandtv@kirklandwa.gov. A programming note: just as many of you, our viewers, may be on vacation next week, so will Currently Kirkland. We'll see you the week of September 1st.